It's official, guys. The Galaxy Note 8 is coming out on August 23rd, just next month. Why did the Apple sheep care about this? Well, because, as I said, the Galaxy S8 was not a bad phone. I ended up ditching it because it had a lot of glitches and problems that made it definitely not as good as my iPhone, plus, you know, Apple ecosystem, but I'm excited to see if this thing doesn't explode. I'm very proud of Samsung for just kind of embracing their faults and saying, we messed up, we're gonna try harder now, but they're still very confident about this Note lineup. They are not trying to attempt a complete redesigned phone. They are not trying to say that the Note never happened and trying to end that product line. They're embracing their faults and they're moving on. The most exciting thing I'm looking forward to is the dual camera on a Note 8. Dual cameras are on almost every smartphone now, and Samsung's one of the most popular smartphone developers out there, but they've yet to implement a dual camera on any of their smartphones somehow. The cameras they do put on them are amazing, and I was very impressed with the Galaxy S8's camera. It took some incredible photos, and that selective focus feature works extremely well. However, my biggest complaint with most Galaxy cameras is they're always a little too wide. They want to make sure that you get everything in the photo, but personally, I like zooming in on stuff, and I prefer that kind of cropped in angle on my iPhone, actually. So I'm excited to see a dual camera on the Galaxy Note 8 that is actually officially a telephoto, but has all those great megapixel settings of a regular Galaxy phone, which has very capable sensors. For a while, a lot of people were assuming that the fingerprint reader would be embedded underneath the display, and they would actually beat Apple to that fight. But it sounds like because Apple can't even figure that out, Samsung can't either, and they're gonna have to wait another year before that technology is ready. So they very quickly decided, well, Touch ID has to be on the back of the Note 8, and we'll be seeing a very large bulge on the back of this smartphone, complete with 2 cameras, a flash, and a fingerprint scanner, all kind of on one big bulge based on these leaks. Looks kind of ugly to me personally. I hope they go with kind of the vertical alignment and not the whole sideways way, but whatever, right? They can do what they want. They're their own company. As long as they can keep the camera bulge on the back as thin as it was on the S8, which was basically not existent, like you could barely tell it was there, then I'll be happy. I'll be satisfied with it. It also looks like they're redesigning the S Pen. It looks a lot different based on these leaks than it did in the past, which is a welcome change. I personally have not found a use for having a stylus on a smartphone yet, but for those very loyal Note fans who insist on having a stylus, you're getting a redesign, I guess. Has anyone realized that there's no other like flagship smartphone developer that really wants to ship a stylus with every smartphone? That's pretty much just the Note lineup. I can't think of any other companies that are still doing that. I think there's a reason for it. There's just not any sense in handwriting things on a display that can fit in your pocket. It just makes so much more sense to type or dictate, and most of the things you can do with the stylus on a Note phone you can just as well do on the regular touchscreen just with your finger, but they've got their gimmick, they're standing by it. I have one friend with a Galaxy Note phone and he absolutely never uses the S Pen on it, so that's as much as I know. I never see people in public just like writing things on their phone all the time. That's too small. Just type with the keyboard. But the exciting thing about the Note 8 is this display is going to be ginormous. Based on the lineup of previously released S8 phones, it looks like the Note 8 is going to be even larger than the S8 Plus, which had a over 6-inch display, so maybe with the Note phone we could be approaching 6.5 inches. This is where I start to wonder if this is a tablet or a phablet, because technically it fits in your pocket, but geez, at what cost, Samsung? This display is going to be absolutely enormous, and I'm very curious to try it out. I'm wondering if this might be the step where Samsung actually decides to put 4K in a smartphone, because it's been done before, and a lot of people kind of admitted that it was overkill and unnecessary, but Samsung admits that Quad HD is unnecessary, because the Galaxy S8 phones, when you unbox them, are default to full HD to expand battery life, and I guarantee you most people don't even notice that they're not taking advantage of every pixel. You can't see that. So perhaps with the Note 8, they'll default the resolution to Quad HD, and if you want to turn it up, you could turn it all the way up to 4K, and this could be useful for the Samsung VR headsets they like to ship with their smartphones. If the pixel density of this phone is much higher, then that VR content is going to be looking a lot better, hopefully. So again, I'm very curious if they want to make this jump in this cycle. Because the Galaxy Note phones have kind of been like the pro versions of the Galaxy S phones, that would make sense to me. The rumors I've been reading have said that the telephoto lens on the back of the Note 8 is going to be 3 times zoomed in instead of 3 times zoomed in instead of 2 times as it is on the iPhone, which I really hope isn't true. That telephoto is way too zoomed in because people like to crop in occasionally, but I think that's a little too much. We want to like zoom in on our photos a little bit, Samsung. We don't want to like see Jupiter, which that sounds like what they might be going for, but I'm anticipating the dual camera to be the best dual camera we have on any smartphone because both of the lenses are likely to be optically image stabilized, and it seems like an Android trend more recently to put more megapixels in the telephoto lens so that you can zoom in further. I bet Samsung will keep on with this tradition. And of course, it won't be as good as the iPhone Edition's dual camera. So it'll be top dog for just a couple months. But either way, I hope I have the finances to afford it and review it for you guys, because as far as Android goes, I hate it. However, if I was not allowed to buy iPhones, I would definitely buy Galaxy phones. So I can't promise you that there will be a review on the Note 8, but I really hope so. I'd really like to, and I'm curious what all of you think of the Note 8. Go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.